Hello everyone. The course name is Banking Regulation and Operations. The unit is Paying and Collecting Banker. And the topic that I'll be covering in this presentation is the various precautions that a paying banker has to make while making the payment against a particular negotiable instrument. So coming to the various precautions that the paying banker has to take, the first one is open or cross check. So yes, if it's an open check, then obviously the paying banker is free, not having much of a liability. For example, if it's an open check, a banker can pay cash to the payee or the holder across the counter. So the banker did not have to take no huge kind of a precaution to make the payment against an open check, obviously because it is not meant for a particular person or particular account number, and it is a no bearer check. So anyone who comes with the check can be no and allowed to encash that particular instrument. But if it is a cross check, yes, this is a case where the paying banker has to be extremely precautious while making the payment. So a banker has to verify whether the check is open or crossed. So the banker should not be making the payment against a cross check in the counter. So if the check is a crossed one, the banker should see whether it is generally crossed or specially crossed. If it is a general crossing, the holder must be asked to present the check through some banker and should be paid to a banker. But if the check bears a special crossing, the banker should pay only the bank whose name is mentioned in the crossing. Okay, so this is the case of a cross check. So if it's a cross check and no, the banker makes a payment against the cross check without looking at the no aspects of the crossing, then obviously the banker loses the statutory protection because that becomes a forged endorsement. So this is the case of an open or cross check. Second one is presentment of the check. So whenever a paying banker is making the payment against a particular check, then obviously he has to take care of certain factors. So these are the various factors. First thing is that he should be very sure that the drawer is having an account there. Okay, only if the drawer is having an account with the bank, the payment can be made against the particular instrument. Second one is specimen signature. So the payment against a check can be made only after looking at the specimen signature and after ensuring that the specimen signature matches with the signature that is put into the instrument. So this is why the banker should always have a specimen signature of the customer available before making the payment. The third important thing is most of the cases banks make the payment only if it is the account of the customer of the particular branch. Okay, if it's other branch customer, then the banker can make the payment only after getting approval from the home branch of that particular customer. So these are the various factors that the banker has to consider while he is making payments against the presentment of a check. The third one is proper form. So the banker should always see whether the check is in the proper form. That means the check should be in the manner prescribed under the provisions of the Negotiable Instrument Act. So it should not contain any conditions. So when I say proper form, it should have the payee name, it should have the amount in words and figures, it should have the signature, it should have the date of issue, it should be properly endorsed. So all these conditions should be met properly for an instrument to be considered in proper form. The next thing that the paying banker has to take into consideration is the date. Okay, so the date is very important aspect of a check because the date can make a check a post dated check or a stale check. Okay, if a check carries a future date, okay, in that case it becomes a post dated check. Suppose if today I'm giving a check which is dated on 1st of December of 2020, obviously then a customer cannot encash it before that date. So in that case it becomes a post dated check. If the check is presented on the date mentioned in the check, the banker need not have any objection to honor it. But if the banker honors the check before the date mentioned in the check, he loses the statutory protection available. So if the drawer dies or becomes insolvent or countermands payment before the date of the check, he will lose the amount. So the undated checks are usually not honored by the bank. Coming to the second case, which is a stale check. Stale check is when the no check has already got expired. So normally the check is having expiry period of 3 months from the date of issue. So any check which is presented after that becomes a expired check or a stale check, and the bank cannot make a payment against that particular instrument, right? In that case, if the bank is making a presentment or payment against a stale check or a post dated check, obviously the bank loses its statutory protection available as a paying banker. So that is why date becomes very important. The next thing that the paying banker has to take into consideration is the words and figures. Okay, so there should always be a consensus between the words and the figures. If there is a difference between the words and figures of the amount, then the banker cannot make the payment against that particular instrument. However, section 18 of the Negotiable Instrument Act provides that where there is difference between the amount in words and figures, the amount in words is the amount payable. So if the banker returns the check, he should make a remark, amount in words and figures differ. Only after writing that particular remark, the banker can return the check in case of a difference in the words and figures mentioned in that. Right? So this is a very important aspect, like the date concept. Coming to the next important precaution that the paying banker has to take while making the payment against a check, it is the case of mutilated check. So mutilated check is very important whenever it comes to the payment of a check. So the banker should be very careful when mutilated checks are presented for payment. A check is said to be mutilated when it has been cut or torn, or when a part of it is missing. So mutilation may be either accidental or it can also be intentional. So if it is accidental, the banker should get the drawer's confirmation before honoring it. If it is intentional, he should refuse the payment. The check is to be returned with a remark, mutilated check or mutilation requires confirmation. Okay, so this is how a mutilated check is getting treated. So sometimes the bank is very sure of the case that the mutilated check was not done intentionally. It was an accidental case. Then obviously after getting confirmation from the drawer, he can pass the check. But if the banker has a very at least 0.001% of doubt that it was an intentional mutilation, the banker in no case should accept the check or should make the payment against that particular instrument. So that is the case of a mutilated check. So this is how the mutilation appears. It can be either torn or some kind of part of the check is missing because of some kind of issues. So it is a case of mutilated check. Coming to the next case where the paying banker has to pay extreme care while passing the check is the case of alteration or overwriting. So the banker should see whether there is any alteration or overwriting on the check. If there is an alteration, it should be confirmed by the banker by putting his full signature. The banker should not pay a check containing material alteration. Okay, so suppose if there is a small mistake, okay, if I am writing something and there is a spelling mistake and I'm overwriting it, then obviously if I am the drawer of the instrument, then I can put a cross signature and then the bank can pass the check. But if it is a material alteration, suppose someone who is a third party coming with a check, he has altered the amount and has added 1 0 extra, okay, to increase the amount mentioned in the check. In that case, it becomes a material alteration that bank cannot honor such instrument which is having a material alteration. So if it's a case of overwriting an alteration which is acceptable to a limit, if it's not a material alteration, the banker can get the signature, counter signature of the drawer and then can pass the instrument. Otherwise, strict no, and the instrument cannot be passed if it's a case of a material alteration. And the last precaution that the paying banker has to take care of while he's making the payment against the instrument is the case of a proper endorsement. The check must be properly endorsed. In the case of the bearer check, the endorsement is not necessarily necessarily legal. Okay, but in case of an order check, the endorsement is necessary. So bearer check means anyone, it's an open check, anyone coming with a check can obviously get payment against that. So in that case, endorsement is not legally necessary. But if it is a order check or cross check, obviously endorsement becomes very necessary. So endorsement should always be done in a proper form containing a signature, at least in an initial form, right? So this is how the check should appear, and these are the various precautions that the paying banker should take care of while he's making the payment against the particular instrument. So I just hope this gives a very good idea about what all precautions a paying banker should take while they are making the payments against a particular check. Thank you so much.